Welcome to Sarcastic Remarks. This is the after game review for the game against the Predators. I thought I was going to be saying Stars lose by a final score of 2-1 to the Nashville Predators, but the freaking Christmas miracle, man! What a game! What a finish! Okay, maybe not what a game, but what a finish! Like they win 3-2, and it's off of a player who is making his return to Nashville in Craig Smith, but Hawking Paul. Fucking who? With the first goal of the season for him, and he gets the game winner. Tell me that exists normally in like that's like a Hollywood script, and the way that this transpired in today's game.
We all thought it was going to be Duchesne, but no, we have another player from that team.
Oh man, I don't get it. I don't understand that. I don't even know what to talk about with this game because I was already formulating all of these ideas in my head when it was 2-1, right? In the last 15 seconds of the game, I'm thinking like, oh, well, crap. They're not getting into the zone. They're not doing anything. They're not getting any pucks deep. And then they finally get a little bit of puck luck in the final 15 seconds. I honestly don't know where to go from here because of the craziness of that last little bit.
Yeah, I think we're all just high on that last 10 seconds. Like you should have seen, we were watching in the living room and we're all just sitting there upset because it felt like we didn't play that awful of a game and we just have nothing left at the end of the game. I mean, all the Stars, they felt gassed. Really.
They looked gassed. They
looked gassed. And just a miracle out of nowhere, Craig Smith finds a way to put just enough energy in to get it deep. And then Robertson is able to work it to the front of the net, and it just goes to Smith again, and he
happens
goal.
Yeah. Right. Well,
it's crazy. Okay. This never happens to us.
Yeah, we don't get lucky like this. It feels like.
Yeah, at least not the past couple of weeks.
So one of the things I guess you could pull out of this game is all of the crazy bounces.
They went our way today.
Well, not just in our way, but for Nashville too.
We got more than they
did. Well, obviously, we did.
We won.
Screw you, P-Cats. No, I'm just kidding. P-Cats suck. P-Cats suck. You suck. It's all your fault. It really, I don't know whose fault it really is.
Dude, that last show.
I don't know, but I need to. I was too jubilant. I haven't looked at any replay since.
It was not a good save.
Really?
It really was.
So he
played such a good game, and to let that one squeak through him felt wrong.
That's like a dagger, and not just a dagger, but a dagger and a twist, just to make it more painful.
It was more like a RPG
in the face
because there was no dagger in the back. It was just there.
Yeah.
I mean, it exploded in their faces.
Okay, so let's discuss the last two goals here for a second, because you've got the shots pulled up. Tell everybody about the shots.
Okay, so the shots per period in the first period it was 8-12 for Nashville. Second period was 16-7 for the Stars. The period where we lost 2-0 in goals, and then in the third period, 10-2 shots for the Stars.
So that was one of the things I also wanted to discuss. With the shots did not follow the game, if that makes sense. Like I felt the first period, the Stars were the much better team. I felt they got way more opportunities. They were more on the puck. They were better than the P-Cats in the first period. And then the 16-7 shot differential in the second, I don't know how we put up 16. The only thing I can think of is that a lot of the shots were from distance, because it didn't feel like we were doing anything.
But they weren't. That's the crazy thing.
We were
getting interior. I really think Saros stole that second period and made it look a lot worse than it was.
But I can see that to a point, but it's not just. It wasn't just him. The Stars were not getting any pressure in the second period.
We had 16 shots.
Step slow.
We did look a step slow all night long, and that was
not the first. In the second and the third, for sure. In the first period, I disagree.
But if you're getting pucks to the front of the net, that's how you win games. I mean, you get those lucky bounces when you shoot that much. So, granted, we still shouldn't have won this game, but I mean, we got lucky twice at the end. You know. You shoot the puck 30 times, you're gonna get one lucky bounce.
Or in this case, two.
Apparently. Yeah,
in the final 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So, okay, so, I, and Amanda was completely right. She walked into the living room with Allison, my youngest daughter. Walked in, looked at all of our faces, and we're all just downtrodden, depressed. I'm like, this is the way we're gonna go into Christmas without a Stars win, and feeling like we probably should have deserved a better outcome. And
At least a
then
better game.
at
It
least a
felt
better
so
game.
bad.
right, it felt bad, because and no offense to Nashville. Well, maybe
It's kind of
should've been-
offense.
It's kind of offensive.
I
hate
mean
Nashville.
extreme offense.
But I still okay. Who do you hate more, the Wild or the Nashville Predators?
I still hate the Nashville Predators.
Are you serious?
Really.
You're okay. No, you're not.
I hate the P-Cats color.
That's all it is.
It's awful.
And yet we're in the background.
In the
with
background
yellow.
with yellow. Yeah, it's awful.
But anyways, I still hate the Wild more. I still do. But no offense to the Nashville Predators, but I know that, and hats off to them for their recent success. They're they won 13 of the last 16, 14 of the last 19, or something like
Something
that.
crazy.
Something crazy like that. But they did not play a good game.
No.
We played a bad game for the most part. I felt
We played a bad second period.
A terrible
and didn't
second
come out
period,
and
yeah.
respond in the third. No one was playing in the third period. No one was.
well, especially that. I mean, they took, and you even heard me say that they took their foot off the gas, right?
Oh yeah,
Like 8 or
Nashville
9 minutes.
absolutely. They completely stopped playing.
They had the turtle.
Yeah,
The bonus talking.
which is the most dangerous thing in the season of comebacks. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and
Think for a second.
and that's something that we have been talking about all season long now, and the fact that you, especially in this season, and you mentioned it, this is like a historic season for not just the Stars, who are now first in the NHL in comebacks now with 12, but it's just across the NHL. We see these crazy scores. We've seen in the last couple of weeks
Last week,
that Columbus was up 5-0, and then Toronto came roaring back. And yes, they still lost in overtime, but they still got a point out of a game they shouldn't have even been close in. The other night, we saw Detroit has been on the
they
other side
had
of
a
a lot of
4-goal lead.
They had a 4-goal lead, and then I think that
They were playing the Flyers.
They-
They
yeah.
blew it completely, and we're losing
Yes.
6-5. Scored in the last 5 minutes,
And
and
then
won
won
it over in the shootout.
Yeah. so
It's crazy.
You cannot.
And the
you
crazier
cannot-
thing is that you don't even have to look at any other games besides the Stars.
Yeah.
The last 5 games we played, one team or the other has come back in the third period.
Mhm.
We came back in the Sens game. We came back in the Blues game. We lost it eventually. The Kraken came back at the end of their game, and we won that one eventually. And then we come back in this game.
Okay, so
It
here's the
doesn't
thing.
make any sense.
So I think this is the key to the success of for all teams in the NHL right now, and we need to answer this question: is how do you keep the consistency?
You score
throughout
9 goals a
60?
game. That's the only way.
Well, then Edmonton would be first in the NHL right now.
Yeah, well, they're not scoring 9 goals a game, are they? If they were, they would be.
I don't know, but
No mercy.
but
No
like,
mercy this year, guys.
is it literally like you keep your foot down like 75% of the time on the gas pedal and not 100% of the time?
No,
Because then
keep
you
it
get
down all
tired?
the time. You keep it down. If the other team is rolling over even a little bit, you take every single goal you get.
Yes.
Every single one. That's what we've learned this year. Get your 9-goal lead and make sure the other team doesn't want to play anymore.
Right. I guess. I mean, we got close to an 8-1 lead on Tampa Bay. So
And we were still trying to score.
yeah, and then we were still trying to score. That's true. So okay. Anyways, oh, here you go, James. Ardell saying deserve to win-o-meter indicates whom? I was very interested in
It
this question as
indicates
well.
Dallas by is 56 to 44 or something like that.
So
Close.
it was a fun game at the end, but for the most part, it was kind of a sucky game to watch. But it was just a sad game to watch.
It was
A depressing game to watch.
because it felt like we should have scored a lot more than we did, and also
Especially in that
we're upset at the refs because Roman Yossi grabbed the puck.
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, all right. So let's get on to that. Talk about that. How do you miss that?
It's like that's not a call that
It's
you
not
should ever
like
make.
it's not like he just went like he grabbed it like this and then like threw it.
Yeah, that's a
You
bang.
could clearly see he picked it up, turned his hand, and chunked it.
He pulled it to the other side of his body and then threw it back across the other side again.
I just don't. And then and I was wrong. I thought it was a penalty. It's actually
penalty
a penalty shot.
because it's in the crease.
Yes, and on top of that, the Stars have been really good in penalty shots, aka shootout attempts, this whole year.
Johnston.
I know.
Okay. Johnston.
Yeah. So
he should have scored tonight, dude.
yeah,
It was crazy
thought-
how
I
many
thought he
players
deserved
looked
it.
like they were going to score tonight, and you get Craig Smith and Yanni Hagenbach and Dono.
and
None of
that's
those
true,
guys
and
should
Dodonna.
score.
Oh, and no, do you want to tell everyone what you said right before the
Oh, right before the Dono scored, I was
Well,
like,
no, first off, yesterday or last game, you said something about
oh, I thought Hanley was gonna get scratched. I think.
no, Harley. You called Harley. You said Harley is gonna get the
Oh
next
yeah,
goal.
I called Harley to get the game tying goal,
And
and
he
then
did.
tonight I reverse jinxed it somehow. I was like, Dodonov hasn't had a great game. They might scratch him for Delhi next
Not
game.
even 2 minutes later. Not even 2 minutes later.
Goal. Oh, well, he's staying in the lineup.
He's like in the pitch now. So, oh, it was so much fun. But okay, so let's discuss the power play again because I want to get on this because it's gonna be a talking point because recently, okay, it has now been 4 or 5 games. I can't remember how many games it's been. 4 or 5 games where we have not necessarily won the special teams battle, which has been a weird thing. We have been winning the special teams battle for majority of the season, but yet we're 4-0-1 in our last 5 games, and our penalty kill continues to be still pretty good despite giving up being somewhat leaky, not bad, just a little bit leaky and just not dominant as they've been. But there was the first game that I started talking about this, and that the power play looked like it did at the beginning of the season, and I said, hopefully this is not a thing that continues. It has continued,
I'm not.
and then we had it. We had
You keep talking about it, Ryan. I'm gonna keep saying exactly what I've been saying. They go through cold streaks. They go through hot streaks. It's happened for 2 seasons straight now. I'm not worried about it. It'll come.
but the reason why I'm worried about it is this is not going to be able to continue.
It's not
the
costing
Stars,
us
they-
games either, though.
Okay, but I think eventually it will. Okay, eventually it will. This whole comeback thing, this whole not being able to score on the power play thing, is eventually going to come to bite us in the butt.
But it hasn't yet. And
Okay,
we've
but
been
it
doing
will.
it. But we have been doing it all season long. In
No,
fact,
we haven't
there's
been doing it
been
all season.
we have 12 comeback wins.
No, I'm not worried. No, I'm talking about the power play here, not the comeback. The comebacks, yes,
but-
we've been doing all season, but the power play specifically, we have to
Power
be able
plays
to
aren't
rely
gonna
on
cost
it at
us.
some point.
I mean, they didn't cost us in the early season. That's when we looked best, and they're not costing us now when we're not scoring any, and we've been the best we've been all season. I mean, power play feels unrelated right now. That's what's crazy.
It's almost like the power play is like opposite of how the Stars are playing overall.
They can only score on the power play.
So
when
we
they're
so we
doing that.
want the power play to suck for the rest of the season.
Yes.
And that means more wins.
Drop all the way down to 5% on the power play.
Right. I don't know, but okay. Wedgwood. He doesn't give up 3 goals today.
Oh my word. He did it.
He finally gets
He
the
did
lower. And yeah, and it's not that like he's been bad. Like we've been saying, it's not that his 3.13 goals against average coming into this game was indicative of him being a bad goalie. It wasn't. The Stars have just been able to outscore the problems, and most of the problems when it has been coming to opponent goals has been the Stars' leaky defense and their inability to help off the rush. But today he only lets in 2, and he was pretty good. He wasn't asked to be huge today, but he still made some really key saves.
It's really funny because this game is almost a carbon copy of last game, except the PCats only scored 2 because they're not as good. Really. I really truly believe that.
And
They had
no
like
points.
they had like 3 opportunities to get like a wide open net, and they mishandled the puck every time.
Yep.
So it's so crazy how those 2 games that we just played, the shots are almost identical. That's the scary thing.
Oh really?
Really. I think the Preds had 20. That's the first time I called them the Preds, by the way. They had 21 shots, and I think Vancouver had 21 as well. but shots are almost identical. The game felt so different though. That was the crazy thing.
36-20 in the Vancouver game, and then today was 34-21. You're exactly right.
Almost identical shots. I mean, it was some good plays by the Preds on the power play. The power play was good. That's a set off the face-off play that we got cheesed by. I mean, it's cheese. That's what you call it. That's how the Blues got their power play against us as well.
Yes.
They won the face-off. It feels like that is going to end up being our kryptonite this year on the penalty kill. And then their other one, I was a hit. They slapped it at Wedgwood and it went over. I mean, that's what happened.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, let's talk about the D tonight. So, Miro makes an uncharacteristic play that leads to a goal. Just kind of passes it up the board, passes problems along. So that was not all that great. However, Hakanpää makes up for some of the mistakes that he had in tonight's game with the game winner. I forgive him completely for that. When
He's totally gunning for it too.
And he
shots tonight.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is he wasn't bad. And then the other thing is, you know what? I gotta give props to Ryan Suter.
He had a pretty good night.
Especially the third period when it looked like nobody else was like going into the offensive zone.
He had something.
He's like, okay, well, if no one else is gonna do it, I'm gonna go in and do it.
Yeah, he had energy to give, and he gave it, which is not very characteristic of him, honestly, with how he's been with the Stars. I mean, that's not his role. He knows that's not his role. But, I mean, he helps us out a lot in the third period just to keep it in the offensive zone.
Speaking of energy, fourth line.
Oh, my word. They were a monster tonight.
I mean, all three of those guys. Like, obviously, Smith gets the game tying goal, which that's interesting that he's out there at that time, right?
I think he was just throwing whoever on because at that point, like the first line had been out there for almost 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I would love to know the thought process of whether it was DeBoer or whether it was Steve Spock, the assistant coach who runs the forwards. Like what was the thought process in throwing Smith out there?
The thought process, I think, is that was the only line. No, that was the only line to not get broken up tonight. The top three lines all got shown. They kept the bottom line together because they had such a good game. So reward a player who is playing good, who hit a post earlier in the game.
Okay, that's true. I forgot about that.
And he was swarming all night, but reward a player, give him a chance, and he sinks one with Robertson on the ice, which helps, but you know, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
That was a gritty goal.
Seriously.
Throw it in front, get it in the net.
Okay, sorry. I know we were talking about defensemen, but you mentioned the energy, and I thought about the fourth line. Other thing about defensemen, obviously, hopefully Hanley is okay. We don't want him to be hurt. Hopefully he's okay. He took a puck to the face. I didn't see anything about it in the excitement of winning the game or anything like that. And we literally didn't listen to any of the post game, so hopefully he's okay. But and I'm not to knock a player when he's down and hurt and stuff like that, but he plays less tonight, so he played 13 minutes against Vancouver. He plays 10
11
today.
Played 11.
10 or 11, yeah. Okay. But again, it's just kind of the meh.
It really, he was fine defensively tonight. That's what I was more happy with, was that he played really well defensively. He kills any momentum we have on the offensive zone. I mean, he touches the puck, and he sits there for about 3 seconds till someone starts to pressure him, and he throws it at the net. He does
it in deep.
Yeah, or passes it to the other defenseman who gets trapped. I mean, it's you can count on it every time he gets the puck. It's terrifying. And on a night when you are struggling to score goals again, second night in a row that we really struggled to score goals, it's really hard to me to justify to keep him in.
Well, it might not even be his choice at this point if he's that injured. I don't think he will be. Because
they might give him a game anyway, just because
Nils hasn't played in a couple.
He hasn't played in a couple anyway, so trade off. But
yeah,
we'll see. We don't have to worry about that for 3 days anyway.
Yeah. So the Stars are off obviously for the next 3 days, as is the rest of the NHL. The rest of the NHL is on the Christmas break. I forget when our next game is. I believe it might actually be against the Blackhawks.
Against the Blues.
Against the Blues, and then 2 against the Blackhawks.
Yep.
So this is going into a very division-heavy part of our schedule,
Which we are now 6-1-1 in the Central.
and that's really good. That's very good to hear. So Wednesday, so the day as soon as the Christmas break is over, we're in Blues territory, and then we've got 2 straight against the Blackhawks at American Airlines Center on the 29th, and then on New Year's Eve, which will be very interesting to see Connor Bedard for the first time, and
That should be fun.
yeah, it should be a lot of fun. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this one up with a biggest winner, biggest loser. There's a couple, and it's a weird game.
Super weird.
It's a super weird game and I hadn't even thought about this until now. I mean, we can talk about biggest winner for a second. Let's just cycle through and just figure out what we can do. But there wasn't really. I guess here's my first thought. The biggest winner is the top 3 lines having to get shuffled around again.
Just them having to get shuffled.
Just not the fact that they
Not them.
not them themselves,
Just the
but
shuffling.
just, yeah. So
I mean, the nice thing is
maybe that's the
we-
biggest loser.
Well, is that we saw that the previous night and it worked. And it kind of worked again tonight. I mean, you saw the shuffle and it was a little better after they got shuffled. And what's really cool to see is how well they all still are playing with each other, even though they're on completely different lines.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
Ben's on the top line with like
it was Ben.
Well, I mean, there wasn't even a top
There
line.
wasn't a top
Yeah,
line.
there
They were
wasn't a-
completely shuffled. It was Ben, Johnston, Pavelski, and then it was Hintz, Marchment, and Dodonov.
and then like the remaining
And then it was Sagan, Duchesne, Rovo.
so
I mean, that was the funkiest thing ever. And it didn't look half bad.
it didn't. You're right.
I mean, it's nice to see that.
I guess the other biggest loser is just another stat I'm thinking about. The Stars give up the first goal again.
But we win. Ha!
Yeah, right. So it's a terrible stat. I swear we've given up the first goal in 6 of the last 7 games.
Feels like it.
I think so. I think that's the truth. In 6 of the last 7 games, I believe the Stars have given up the first goal. And yet during that time, I think we're 4-1-1.
Determination.
Yeah.
Beat the bad teams.
Right.
Beat the teams you're supposed to.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life. Okay.
Do I get to do mine?
Yeah. What's your biggest?
Okay, so I'm choosing Yanni Akbot for my biggest winner because that's the coolest goal he's ever scored in his entire career. Unless he gets one in the playoffs, which unlikely, but possible.
Yes.
That has to be like the coolest goal ever to score. 3 seconds left in the game after your team just tied it.
Yeah.
Biggest loser, Danley got hit in the face with the puck. I honestly don't think he played that bad tonight. Offensively,
I didn't think he played bad
He's
either.
bad.
It's just,
but he did catch
we
a
could-
puck to the face, so that's kind of.
I just feel like we could be doing so much better with our defensemen. I feel even down in, I even feel like giving somebody else a chance from the Texas Stars. One of the vets. One of the vets. I don't know. But
That's like when
but
you
yeah,
bring
here's
Baylor
so
back up.
wouldn't that be crazy? And he becomes the answer.
He's been in the NHL before too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got him, you've got Poyot, you've got Petrovic. I mean, all 3 of those
Not
guys
great
have been in
options,
NHL.
but there's options.
Right, but I mean, I guess it's working right now. Again, we can't complain about the records. 4-0-1 in the last 5. So
It's 5-0-1.
5-0-1 their last 6. Never mind. Okay, so
It's even better than you were saying.
yeah. What am I talking about pulling Hanley out of the lineup for? He's been in there for like 4 of the 6 games, I think.
He's
No.
the reason why we're winning. Definitely.
Okay. I don't know who to give the biggest winner to. I guess I'll give it to Smith since he played against his former team and
Smith
he
was
gets
the
the goal for the game time goal.
And that
So-
4th line was ridiculous all night.
Okay, we did talk about the 4th line, so we could say the whole 4th line. Steele, him, and Foxen. All 3 of those guys had just been excellent. So, all right, well, we got to get out of here because we got to go see Christmas lights. Mom wants us to go see some Frisco thing, so we'll be down there. Anything else?
I hate the P-Cats. I'm glad we won. For Dutchy's sake.
Yes, for Dutchy's sake, exactly. Okay. Anyways, random thing. Go and look at the Sarcastic Remarks like feed or page or whatever it's called. I don't know what they call it anymore. There was a really interesting thing that JFresh did, and it had like all of the most hated or most annoying fan bases according to each fan base. And of course, Dallas's number one was Minnesota.
And Minnesota's number one was Dallas.
Exactly. They're mutual hate
hate.
between the two teams. So I love that. Go and look at it. It's really interesting. And of course, like Toronto's on there like 20 times.
everyone in Toronto's division that's their first most hated.
Well, I mean, do you
It's
blame them?
No. They have every stadium that's on the road.
Right, exactly.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying. Okay.
Why do you have so much money?
Okay. Well, anyways, guys, we haven't talked about plans for maybe an episode tomorrow. It really just depends. It won't be in the evening. If we do one, it'll be in the afternoon.
Maybe a Christmas episode instead.
Like a who cares thing?
I don't know. We
Might
can
be able
still
to
do.
do that.
We can still do general hockey.
Okay, we could.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
We just haven't discussed it all. There'll probably at least be an episode. Whether we do
Over the next 3 days.
yes,
It'll
for
be
sure.
Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday.
Sunday.
Sunday,
Okay.
Sunday.
All right. Anyways, guys, we hope you guys have a very beautiful and Merry Christmas. The Stars gave us a Christmas miracle today by winning 3-2. Not in overtime.
Not in overtime.
Not in
I
overtime.
don't know how they did it. I was fully expecting it to go to overtime.
But anyways, we appreciate you guys, especially during this holiday season. This is our 4th year doing this, continuing what we've been doing. We just love talking hockey. And this has kind of turned into a family thing with Zach coming on sometimes and Dad and Cooper. And it's been so much fun. So seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you guys for allowing us to do what we do. We hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. Alongside James, my name is Ryan. We will catch you guys on the flip side. Hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. James, can you please take us out?
Chris really did miss the best games of the year.
GG, boys.
Let's go.